Okay, today we're going to probably be working with our eraser even more than our pencil tip when we start putting in the white highlights. And we're going to start just kind of tweaking the different shadows that we see within the piece and the highlights as well. Here I'm measuring out where the angle of that, I don't know if it's an ice cube, it doesn't really matter, it's a change in value. I'm measuring that change in value with my pencil. So as long as the two papers are parallel, you can do that. So I'm just blocking it out with my eraser and finding where the tip of the pencil hits on the top of that known object of the glass, kind of trying to match it up. You can go back and forth a couple of times to find what you need. I'm also trying to look at where different little nooks and crannies are hitting compared to the top of that glass. Again, just blocking it in with my eraser. It's nothing that's going to be super permanent. It's another reason we don't want to shade too dark, because you never know when you're going to have to pull color out or pigment. And I knew later on I'm going to have that area right there be a little darker, so I blended it. Now there's an angle there that's a change in value. I'm not quite sure why, but I don't need to know why. I just need to go ahead and do it. Kind of submit to the drawing. So when you're doing all of this shading and everything within this glass, one of the reasons I really like art is because you kind of have to give over control a little bit. Whatever that resource says goes. I'm trying to find what that says. So when I draw realistically, the resource that I'm drawing from becomes the rule. So I'm trying to match. So I have to submit to what is there, even if I can't make sense of it. And then my picture is supposed to be as close as possible to the real deal. Measuring again with the angle. You can do that just to kind of find the angle of curves. But it's called submitting to the image, where you let the image be in control. Sometimes the things I know about a glass might get in the way. So I have to put all those things aside and just draw what I see, not what I know. So right here I'm just looking at shapes, looking at the spaces around the shapes and drawing what I see, not what I know, because I don't know anything about how those highlights would actually happen. That's a lot of information on what light would do within, a certain kind of day. What if it's cloudy out? Would I have the same values and would I have the same lights and darks? Probably not. So just seeing it and putting it is a lot less work for my brain. So you almost have to turn that logical side of your brain off and just see it and put it. And it's kind of freeing to do that, to where, you're not trying to really drive the bus. Let the picture drive the bus. You're kind of submitting to light. Whatever the light is doing, you're putting it in. Which can be taken a lot of different ways, depending upon what you believe. And I'll just leave it at that. I had some area over here that I erased, so I'm sliding that back in so I can match it up and get a gray tone going. That gray tone is not very different from that inside of the cup, so I'm going to have to really look to make sure I get it right. Otherwise it might look kind of cartoony later. But I'll be continuing to work that area. And I blend it in with a blending stump. Kind of finding some areas to blend. Again, measuring where light, where shapes are happening within it. Using my pencil, using that known object. Where does it hit on that known object? Is this area darker than the area beside it? Is it lighter than the area beside it? And I'm starting to build slowly. I don't want to go too dark too quick, because then if I get it in the wrong spot, goodness, I can't erase it. Sometimes it stains the paper. Really looking at, what is that line doing? Is it a curved line? What angle does the curve happen on? What shape is that? Because most of this is organic shape, which is called a living shape. The word organic means living. So any line that's not straight is usually called an organic shape. And what's interesting, some lines will go from being more of a geometric line to an organic line. There's a lot of different characteristics of a line. We might talk a little bit later on about what a line is, what characteristics those are. Sometimes you think you know, but you might not. Here I'm just finding the different values that I'm seeing within the piece, kind of enhancing them. Find a spot. Sometimes it's really handy to put your other finger where you're working so that you find your way that way.